Magkasangga, magkakapit, magkasangga, magkakapit.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusiling proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ang pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, boosted weight, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver pro. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki ng produktong gawa sa tayo. Ito ay mabibili sa The Shed, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Ginauganan, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginang Malu Reyes Nure. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na! Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusiling proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ang pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, boosted weight, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver pro. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki ng produktong gawa sa tayo. Ito ay mabibili sa The Shed, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Ginauganan, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginang Malu Reyes Nure. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na!
Magandang umaga po, mga kasangga. Nandito naman po ang inyong Kuya Eric. Samahan niyo po ako sa ating daily dose of news sa MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Naghahatid po ng mga nagpapagang balita at kaganapan sa loob at labas ng ating bansa. Sa loob lamang po ng 30 minutos, siyempre, best effort. So, samahan niyo po ako habang pagbabalita po tayo. At bago po natin simulan ang ating pagbabalita, manalangin po muna tayo para magandang ang simula ng ating umaga. Sa pangalan ng Ama at ng Anak, Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal namin lumikha, maraming salamat sa bagong araw na ipinagkaloob ninyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway pagkaloob mo pa sa amin ang lakas upang mapaglabanan ang kasamaan. At manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at sa pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat ng gawain namin, inaari namin sa iyong anak na si Jesus, na aming Panginoon. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak at ng Espiritu Santo. Amen.
MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong.
Good morning po sa mga TikTok live. Magandang umaga po. Maraming salamat po sa pagiging sa inyong pagkatabay sa ating programang MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. At para sa ating mga viewers sa Facebook Live, magandang umaga rin po sa kanila. Kay Richelle Taya, good morning Richelle. Thanks for joining me. And sa ating mga kasama po sa TikTok, ay meron po tayong poll na sinetup dyan. Sana matulungan niyo po tayo. Ako sa pagsagot by answering the poll, the text poll. At ito na po yung ating mga nagbabagang balita ngayong araw na to. Here is a summary of our top stories for today. Climate solutions, green issues take a backseat in Marcos's second SONA. Progress on 20 peso per kilo rice promise rice missing from Marcos's second SONA. Signal number 2 up in parts of Luzon due to EGA, or international name Dapsuri. And for our global story, 15 dead, 19 missing after Indonesia ferry sinks. Transport strike affects 2 Bulacan towns. Iloilo City seen as Philippines' top tourist destination. Missing accountant found dead in Lanao del Sur. And finally, in sports, Team Manila crowned champion. So here is our top story for today. Climate solutions, green issues take a backseat in Marcos's second SONA by Gea Katrina Cabico to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. briefly mentioned climate change and was silent about the country's biggest environmental issues in his second State of the Nation address, leaving green groups unsatisfied and seeking more concrete solutions. Marcos frequently mentioned the need to address climate change and project the environment in his speeches at home and abroad during his first year as the president. The building blocks of progressive, livable, and sustainable communities will never be complete without appropriate and responsible action to mitigate and adapt to the effects of climate change, Marcos said Monday, adding his administration treats climate change as an important criterion in crafting national policies. The chief executive mentioned the need to develop green and blue economies, and protect and preserve forests, as well as the commitment of the country to meet the global decarbonization goals. He also touched on the adoption of a circular economy, or maximizing resource efficiency while minimizing environmental impacts and greenhouse gas emissions. Just like our climate change action, this new system requires the participation of all sectors of society, up to each individual citizen, for it to succeed, the president said. But Marcos did not mention any policy or program to achieve this. Greenpeace said that Marcos' zona did not accurately reflect the real state of the nation, painting a naively positive outlook for the country that fails to consider much needed action to address the serious and urgent challenges posed by the climate crisis that is now compounded by a severe El Nino. Disaster response. The Philippines is one of the countries most affected by extreme climate events, with poor and rural communities bearing the brunt of disasters. Marcos said the government is reorganizing its response teams to make them more adaptable, agile, and effective in times of calamities and crisis. He added that evacuation centers are being upgraded to withstand extreme weather events. We have learned many painful lessons from past disasters. We continue to be alert and prepared in our disaster response. It has, in fact, been commented that sometimes we are overprepared for such natural disasters, he said. Greenpeace campaigner Jefferson Chua said this pronouncement shows a lack of awareness of the reality on the ground. The climate crisis demands a genuine whole of society approach, one that ensures that historically marginalized and oppressed sectors are given their due, he said. Climate scientists backed by the United Nations earlier called on countries to strengthen measures that will help people cope in a warming world. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change also warned that rapid and far-reaching transitions across all sectors and systems are needed to secure a livable and sustainable future for all. Silence on green issues. Marcos did not mention the first major environmental disaster of his administration, the oil spill in Oriental Mindoro. Protect Verde Island Passage, a coalition of communities and environmentalists advocating for the protection of the marine corridor, stressed that the oil spill crisis is far from over. Marcos himself committed that he will resolve this crisis in under 4 months, and we take its absence in his speech as his admission of failing to meet his own deadline. Is the, is the plight of more than 24,000 fisherfolk not worth mentioning? Or is the oil spill now a crisis forgotten? Protect VIP said. Talikasan People's Network for the Environment National Coordinator John Bonifacio also said that Marcos' failure to highlight other environmental issues such as reclamation and mining, which throws into question whether this was really an honest report on the state of the nation or a sanitized ad reel for foreign investors. Bonifacio and Legal Rights and Natural Resources Center Executive Director E.M. Takeman criticized Marcos' continued silence on escalating attacks against environmental defenders and lack of recognition of indigenous peoples in his speech. Land distribution, infrastructure expansionism, and energy development are once again touted without addressing how these aggravated conflicts with indigenous lands Takeba said, adding that Marcos' promotion of renewable energy failed to mention its link with the intensification of mining for so-called energy transition metals. In its 2022 report, LRC found that 49% of certificate of ancestral domain titles or CADTs have land or environmental conflicts, an area equivalent to more than 13% of the total land area of these indigenous lands in conflict are covered by infrastructure, energy, and land development projects. What needs to be done? The Climate Reality Project Philippines and Greenpeace urge Marcos to do the following. Develop a comprehensive roadmap for implementing our nationally determined contributions or climate plans. Modernize power grid to harness distributed, cheaper, and more reliable power from renewable energy. Ban single-use plastics. Call on the world's biggest polluters to take responsibility for climate impacts and make them pay reparations for their contributions to the climate crisis. Phase out coal. Moving on to our next update. The next news update is brought to you by the Shed Cafe. Please scan the QR code to visit their Facebook page. Progress on 20 pesos per kilo rice promise missing from Marcos's second SONA. Report from Philstar.com. Manila, Philippines. In his second State of the Nation address, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. did not say if he's making headway in fulfilling a major campaign promise, bringing down the prices of rice to 20 pesos per kilo. It's a promise that he has repeatedly vowed to honor in previous speeches, but has snapped out of his major report to the people that celebrated how inflation is moving in the right direction after becoming the greatest problem that we encountered. Over a year to the Marcos administration, the prices of rice remain far from the level that the president had promised. Data from the Department of Agriculture held by Marcos shows that the price of well-milled local commercial rice in Metro Manila ranged between 40 to 49 peso per kilo as of July 21. Meanwhile, the prices of regular milled rice in the capital region ranged between 36 to 44 peso per kilo. In past speeches, Marcos said rice is already being sold at 25 peso per kilo in government outlets through his Kadiwa ng Pangulo program, where major farm products are being sold at lower prices. Experts have said Marcos cannot fulfill this promise without making the government subsidize a large portion of rice production costs, a move that would strain state coffers at a time of very tight fiscal space. For Anthony Lawrence Borja, political science professor at De La Salle University in Manila, Marcos supporters can easily brush off his early promise of lowering rice prices in the same way they brushed off former President Rodrigo Duterte's 6-month promises. If the Marcos administration can secure an observable reduction of stabilization of commodity prices, even if it's minimal, while projecting the expansion of the Katiwa program, then the impact of failure on public opinion can be cushioned by an appeal to gradual recovery and progress, Borja said. With additional report from Ian Nicolas Sigaral. Good morning, admin.
It's 6 o'clock.
Signal number 2 up in parts of Luzon due to Engay. Report from Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. State Bureau Pag-asa on Monday morning raised tropical cyclone wind signal number 2 in parts of Luzon as Typhoon Engay has intensified rapidly as it traverses the Philippine Sea. Egay was last spotted 565 kilometers east of Baler, Aurora, with peak winds of 140 kilometers per hour near the center and gusts of up to 170 kilometers per hour. It was moving westward at 15 kilometers per hour. Pag-asa hoisted wind signals in parts of Luzon and Visayas due to Egay. Wind signal number 2. Southeastern portion of for Luzon, southeastern portion of Isabela, Palanan, and Dimapige. Northeastern portion of Catanduanes, Pandan, Bagamanok, Panganiban, Viga, and Gigmoto. Wind signal number 1 for Luzon. Batanes, Cagayan, including Babuyan Islands, rest of Isabela, Quirino, Vizcaya, Apayaya, Mountain Province, Ifugao, Benguet, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, northern portion of Pangasinan, which includes the towns of Natividad, San Nicolas, San Quintin, Sison, Poso Rubio, San Manuel, San Fabian, Anda, Bolinao, San Jacinto, Manawag, Lawak, Binalonan, Asingan, Tayug, Santa Maria, Umingan, Dagupan City, Mangaldan, and Aurora. Northern and eastern portions of Nueva Ecija with the towns of Caranglan, Bungabon, Gabaldon, Pantabangan, Lupao, and San Jose City. Northern and southeastern portions of Quezon, which includes the towns of Pitogo, San Andres, Buena Vista, San Francisco, Calawag, Infanta, Lopez, Catanawan, Mulanay, Ginayangan, Unisan, General Luna, Plaridel, Quezon, Alabat, Padre Burgos, Macalelon, Mauban, General Nakar, Perez, Agdangan, Gumaca, Atimonan, Real, and San Narciso and Tagkawayan, including Polillo Islands, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, the rest of Catanduanes, Albay, Sorsogon, and Masbate. Northern Samar, Eastern Samar, Samar, Biliran. What to expect? According to the latest forecast, the following regions are expected to experience heavy rainfall. For today, above 200 millimeters northeastern portion of mainland Cagayan, 100 to 200 millimeters rest of Cagayan, including Babuyan Islands, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, western portion of Abra, and northern portion of Apayao. 50 to 100 millimeters Batangas, northern and eastern portion of Sabela, rest of Apayao, the rest of Abra, Kalinga, western portion of Mountain Province, Benguet, La Union, and western portion of Pangasinan. Wednesday, above 200 millimeters, Batangas, Babuyan Islands, and Ilocos Norte. 100 to 200 millimeters, northern portion of mainland Cagayan, Apayao, Abra, and Ilocos Sur. 50 to 100 millimeters, rest of mainland Cagayan, Kalinga, western portion of Mountain Province, Benguet, La Union, and Pangasinan. Residents in these areas should be on high alert as heavy rainfall can lead to flooding and rain-induced landslides, particularly in elevated or mountainous regions. Localities that have experienced significant rainfall in recent days are at greater risk. The State Weather Bureau said that EGA is also expected to enhance the southwest monsoon, bringing occasional to monsoon rains over western portions of central Luzon, southern Luzon, and Visayas in the next 3 days. Severe winds are also anticipated during the typhoon's passage. Gale force winds may impact areas under wind signal number 2, while areas under signal number 1 may experience strong winds. Pag-asa warned that the highest wind signal of number 4 or 5, indicating a typhoon force wind threat, may be raised in some areas. Coastal waters along the northern and eastern seaboards of northern Luzon, the eastern seaboard of central Luzon, the seaboards of southeastern Luzon, and the eastern seaboards of Visayas and northeastern Mindanao are under a gale warning, and sea travel is risky for all small craft. Mariners are advised to remain cautious when navigating in these conditions. The State Weather Bureau reported that further shifts in EGA's track forecasts are possible due to the ridge of high pressure north of the typhoon. A landfall over the northeastern portion of mainland Cagayan is not ruled out. EGA is expected to continue intensifying and may reach super typhoon category by late Tuesday or early Wednesday. A weakening trend is projected to begin by Wednesday afternoon or evening as the typhoon enters cooler waters southwest and west of Taiwan, with additional reports from Christine Dagunyo Bersamina. Moving on to our global top story. Fifteen dead, 19 missing after Indonesia ferry sinks. Report by Agence France Press. Kendari, Indonesia. At least 15 people were killed and 19 more were missing on Monday after a ferry sank off the coast of Indonesia's Sulawesi island, which search and rescue officials said. The boat sank with 40 people on board just after midnight local time. The local office of Indonesia's Search and Rescue Agency said in a statement, 6 people were rescued and taken to hospital for treatment, and the cause of the sinking was being investigated, it said. Provisionally, there are 19 people who are still being searched for. Muhammad Arafa, head of the local search and rescue agency in Kendari City in southeast Sulawesi, said in a statement. One search team will dive around the accident site, while another will search the water surface using boats, he said. The ferry was crossing from Lanto village on Batan Island to Lagili village on Muna Island in southeast Sulawesi, the agency said. It shared images of rescuers mobilizing for the search effort and several dead bodies covered by sarongs laid on tarpaulin at a local hospital. It is common in Indonesia for the number of actual passengers on the boat to differ from the manifest. Marine accidents occur frequently in Southeast Asian archipelago nation of around 17,000 islands, where people rely on ferries and small boats to travel around despite poor safety standards. In 2018, more than 100 people drowned when a ferry sank in one of the world's deepest lakes on Sumatra Island. In May last year, a ferry carrying more than 800 people ran aground in shallow waters of East Nusa Tenggara province and remained stuck for days before being dislodged. No one was hurt in that accident. Good morning, Brother Ramon, ang ating PWD President dito sa Barangay Maligaya. Moving on to our regional top stories. Transport strike affects two Bulacan towns. Reports by Efren Ramon Lazaro Diana Lead Suelto to the Philippine Star. Tampaleo Santos, Philippines. Two municipalities in Bulacan were affected by the transport strike launched by the Malayang Alyansa ng Bus Employees at Laborers, or Manibela, yesterday. Reports reaching Colonel Relly Arnendo, Bulacan Police Director, said the first transport strike occurred at around 8 a.m. in Barangay San Vicente, Santa Maria Town. The protesters, numbering around 40, were reportedly led by Emer de la Rosa of the Manibela Hapato Halang Parade Group. The second protest occurred at around 4 p.m. in Barangay San Marcos in Calupit Town. It was reportedly joined by 10 people and headed by Augusto Tenorio. No untoward incident was reported. The strikes failed to paralyze the towns, authorities said. Meanwhile, the Bulacan police deployed up to 271 officers to secure the province during the second State of the Nation address of President Marcos. The security measure was put in place as Bulacan serves as the gateway of people coming from northern and central Luzon to Manila. Intensified checkpoint operations were conducted province-wide, particularly along major roads. Heightened alert. The entire Davao region was also placed on heightened alert for SONA. Davao Region Police Director Major Catherine De La Rey said that while they have not monitored any threat that might disrupt the SONA, the police exerted efforts to ensure that all security measures are in place. Police officers were deployed in areas where protests, rallies were expected. The police appealed to the rallies to conduct their activities in a peaceful manner and not to disrupt the flow of traffic. De La Rey said the officers observed maximum tolerance during the demonstration. Captain Hazel Tuason, spokesperson for the Davao City Police, reiterated De La Rey's statement about the observance of maximum tolerance. Tuason said over 200 police officers were deployed in Freedom Park along Rojas Avenue, where protest rallies are usually held. Colonel Alberto Lupas, Deputy Chief of the City Police, said the police would not hesitate to implement the law if protesters commit violations. Next on our regional top stories, this next regional top story, is brought to you by Hidden Vietnam. Please scan the QR code to visit their Facebook page. Iloilo City seen as Philippines' top tourist destination. Report by Jennifer Rendon to the Philippine Star. Iloilo City, Philippines. For some visitors, it's the food that draws them to the city. For others, it's the vibrant spirit that is being showcased in the world-class Dinagyang Festival, or it can also be the city's rich cultural heritage. For tourists who have traveled to Iloilo City, the place transcends its delicious lapas pachoy or its pancit molo, for which the city is known. The charm of Iloilo City also goes beyond its century-old churches and heritage houses. Located in the Visayas, the city is seen as the center of business investment destination in the South. Best of all, it's the warm hospitality of the Ilonggos and their being malambing that attract tourists to the city. These Ilonggo treats impress the participants of the very important Pinoy Tour 2023, a tour package collaboration of the Departments of Tourism and Foreign Affairs. Headed by Consul General Neil Frank Ferrer, the tour has 294 participants, mostly Filipinos based in the United States. Around 120, the largest delegation, came from Hawaii, and 94 from San Francisco. Now on its 14th year, the VIP Tour 2023 also targeted the youth. It was the first time that Iloilo was included in the itinerary. Alejandra Clemente of Raha Tours Philippines said they made some adjustments in the tour package to accommodate the millennials. The company facilitated the tour. Teenagers Justine and Aubrey, both from San Francisco, can hardly contain their excitement. Aside from Iloilo City, the tourists were also brought to other areas of Iloilo province. Miagao was among the places lined up in the tour's Iloilo leg. The visitors were shown the traditional budbud salt making industry in Miagao and toured the Islas de Gigantes in Carlstown. For Aubrey, the Islas de Gigantes trip was one of the exciting places she had visited. The millennials said the trip was a good opportunity to bond with their grandparents. Ron Morrison, mayor of National City in California, was one of the more than 20 Americans who joined the tour. We're very impressed with Iloilo City. The people here are very gracious. It's obvious that there's a lot going on in Iloilo City, Morrison said, adding it was the sixth time to join the VIP tour. Clemente thanked Iloilo City Mayor Jerry Treñas for his cooperation, which persuaded the tour facilitators to include Iloilo in the package. Around 400 Filipino Canadians will join the next VIP tour to Iloilo in February of 2024. Good morning po kay Ma'am Mirna Natividad Marsan. Thanks for joining. Missing accountant found dead in Lanao del Sur. Report by John Unson to the Philippine Star. Cotabato City, Philippines. An accountant of the Commission on Coordination and Development Office in Sorsogon, South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, Sarangani, and General Santos City, who was reported missing, has been found dead in Lanao del Sur. The remains of Ezel Tan reportedly bore gunshot wounds and torture marks when found in a secluded area in Balabagan over the weekend. Police and relatives of the victims confirmed yesterday that the dead person discovered in Barangay Molimok was Tan. Police said the remains were turned over to the family. Tan was reported missing on July 18. He was last seen driving his car, a Toyota Avanza with license plate LGX113. Police have yet to locate the victim's car. And finally, moving on to sports. Team Manila crowned champion. Report by John Brian Ulanday to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Team Manila crowns home bet Glory Atkins Bihar 6-0 to reign supreme in the Pony International Softball World Series via an amazing sweep yesterday at the McAllen Softball Complex in Texas. It was a remarkable domination for the unbeaten Philippine representative, allowing only a single run across 8 matches to bring back home the International U18 Under crown after 5 years. Good morning, Bro Eric. The wars of Coach Sherry Lou Valenzuela previously ruled the 2017 and 2018 editions before skipping the 2019 edition due to the country's hosting of the 30th Southeast Asian Games. The event took a 3-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. William A. Kilong and Mary Joy Alpiche took turns in anchoring the Filipinos' onslaught, with the former leading a 4-0 shutout of Glory Atkins to top the Elms and notch a finale ticket. After Glory Atkins earned a rematch with the Philippines after a 3-win victory or win over California's premier fast pitch, it was Alpiche who rose to the occasion. Also making up Team Manila were Kenji Tan, Jaisal Rolda, and Franz Bell Patricio, Kyle Marie Matarong, Ambrose Makatbag, Angelica Cordero, Catherine Pichon, Mary Jane Lebaton, and Saka Nicole Romero Salas, and Mary Jane Veronilla. Despite all the difficulties, hardships, and constraints in support that we encountered, Team Manila Philippines remained focused and steadfast in recapturing and taking home the crown in the Pony International World Series, said Rafael Che Borromeo, who was accompanied by Rolando Evangelista and Neil King leading the Philippine delegation. Once again, congratulations to Team Manila. And that concludes our top stories for today. Here again is the summary of our headlines. Climate solutions, green issues take a backseat in Marcos's second SONA. Progress on 20 peso per kilo rice promise missing from Marcos's second SONA. Signal number 2 up in parts of Luzon due to Engaing or international name Dorsuri. 15 dead, 19 missing after Indonesia ferry sinks. Transport strike affects 2 Bulacan towns. Iloilo City seen as Philippines' top tourist destination. Missing accountant found dead in Lanao del Sur. And finally in sports, Team Manila grab champion. So sabi po ni PWD President Ramon Berenguer, si Fradejas, Executive Director ng NCDA, bibisita ba dito sa Barangay Maligaya? And, si Tita Maring Bato, Tita Maring Maglalang is watching. Good morning po. Medyo naghahang po yung ating TikTok live. So, hindi ko po mabasa yung mga naka-view dito, nanonood. And at this point, we would like to invite everyone to join the first invitational magkasangga para sa ITA Play for a Cause that will be held this coming Saturday, Sabado na po. For those who would like to join, baka pwede pa pong humabol, please visit the Facebook page of Smash Point Sports Center. Again, the Facebook page of Smash Point Sports Center. For more details, you can scan the QR code that will lead you directly to the Facebook page of Smash Point Sports Center. Doon niyo po makikita yung kumpletong detalye. Kasama na po doon sa kung magkano yung entry natin. First entry and then second entry for those who will be joining more than two teams, two games. For those who will be joining Tarlac, yung ating pong contact person for Tarlac is Coach MJ Magsino, and for Manila is Coach Jeff Monton. Okay. Si Coach MJ Magsino is connected with the Tarlac Badminton Academy, and while Coach Jeff Monton is with JMPC in Manila. Okay, sa Tarlac City, dumalaw. Okay, si Executive Director Padehas daw dumalaw sa Tarlac City. Okay. Palagay ko pwede pa po kayong humabol. Extend na po natin hanggang today yung ating registration. Actually, kahapon pa po dapat yung ating final entry, no? Yung last day of entries dapat kahapon. Siguro baka pwede pa po humabol hanggang today. No? So, please visit yung ating Facebook page ng Smash Point Sports Center. At doon po, no, makikita nyo yung ating instruction on how and where to register at kung paano po magbabayad ng registration fee. So that concludes our news reporting for today, July 25, Tuesday. Maraming salamat po sa mga sumali sa akin ngayong umaga. Please join us tomorrow as we have our Agri-Talakayan. Maganda po yung topic natin bukas. Meron po tayong yung mga interviewin na mga agri-negosyante. Meron po tayong mga guests na mga sa taga Pura, no? Dadalaw po doon yung ating action man na si Kuya Eric. Doon po sila ni Admin Sol sa Pura bukas. At tunghayan po, subaybayan po natin. Maganda po yung pag-uusapan bukas, agri-negosyo. Para mabigyan po ng mga tips yung ating mga manonood kung ano ba ang magandang gawin para maging matagumpay ang kanilang businesses. Time check is 6:32 at papaalam na po tayo. Maraming salamat po ulit sa inyong panonood at pagkatawag sa akin ngayong umaga. I'll see you again tomorrow.